All right, welcome everyone. Lindsay here with Gerald Overbeck, and we have a special guest, Lynnae Pompeo, who owns Reverie Photo Booth. Welcome, Lynnae.
Hi, welcome.
So before we get into the content and intros, we're starting a new season or series of our podcast called Dream Chasers. So Gerald, do you want to chat a little bit more about the Dream Chasers series?
We're super excited to start this new series where we want to interview business owners that inspire us. A lot of these business owners will be people we know and friends, and we've been chasing our dream for almost 20 years now, and it's not easy chasing a dream. And so I want to give you like the inside scoop into what it is to be an entrepreneur and really encourage you to dream it and do it. And I'm really excited to have Lynnae with us. I met her through YMCA sports. Our kids participated in that. I think it was basketball.
Yeah.
And then I ran into her at the Snohomish Wedding Guild meeting. I think it was last year. We bought the Savannah Schoolhouse, so we were starting to get into the wedding business. So it was really cool to meet with her, and I didn't realize all the different things that she was into, and just super excited to hear about her journey and have her as our first guest on this new series.
I know. And I met Lynnae at the Skagit Wedding Expo last year. So that was super fun. I'm glad you came upstairs to see me because I could not leave my booth. I'm like, I want to go check out.
I had to see everything, so that was perfect.
So we have the first, an intro. What is your business?
So yes, I'm the founder and CEO of REVERIE Photo Booth Co, formerly Lux Booth Northwest. We are currently going through almost literally days away from receiving our new brand assets, which is like that next key point for me to make the full pivot. But we create elevated photo booth experiences for weddings and private parties, milestone events, corporate. That's what we get to do.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So what inspired you to start this business?
Oh, man. So before I started my photo booth company, I was working in the social services sector. I was working with families and kids, and it was all in-home therapeutic work, which means I got to drive to my client's house. I got to sit face-to-face with them as they were navigating different life challenges, holding the babies. Like, it was a very connected, relationship-driven type of work. And I really loved what I did. And then, of course, COVID hit, and we started to isolate. And I continued doing my work, but then all of my sessions pivoted to being Zoom sessions. And I realized, although the work was still important work, it wasn't the same for me. And I just was missing that in-person, like, true connection. And I know that the pandemic hit all of us really hard in different ways. For me, it was an eye-opener of how important it is for me to be amongst the people. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize how key this is to who I am. And that isolation hit me hard. I really went through it. And then when I resurfaced after some time, I realized I need to pivot career-wise because this isn't bringing me joy anymore. And whatever I end up doing, I have to be around a lot of people. And so events was that obvious space for me to enter into. So that was what made me shift. And then in terms of why photo booths, funny enough, I've always joked and said that celebration is my love language. It's not technically one of the 5 love languages, but the way that I've always shown love is to show up really extravagant for people who I care about. Do something that celebrates them. I really want them to walk away with this impression of, oh my gosh, all of this for me. So like whether it's a 40 clue scavenger hunt for my husband's 40th or any birthday party for my kids, I would find a theme and just like go all out. And I just love showing my love that way. And so I felt like photo booths was perfect. It captures the memories, and it's also just a little over the top, which is so me, and I just loved it immediately. So that's what got me into the whole space.
Oh, for sure. I feel like any event that you're at, it's always like good vibes and people are like, let's go, let's take photos. Like, how can you not be excited and like,
It is. And just like naturally smiling, you're around people who are happy. And I really felt like I was in a place in my life where I absolutely needed that energy and still do.
No, I feel that with the COVID time, I was I was a trainer for a bank and traveling and being in person and everything. And then when COVID hit, everything was Zoom, and I just could not take it. So then I started working at Cactus & Co. when everything opened up. I'm like, okay, people.
Yes.
So, I can totally relate to that. What was the hardest moment in the early days that made you question whether this would actually work?
So the timing of when I started my photo booth company was unintentionally perfect. But back to what I was just talking about, when I started my photo booth company was 2021. So it was right when things opened back up, which for the event industry was really good timing because everyone was just as eager as I was to like be doing events. So the event industry was blowing up and I had this experience of like, oh my gosh, I am booked and busy, like everything's going well. And I didn't really have, and I'm sure obviously I went through ups and downs like any entrepreneur, but I didn't really experience a lot of hardship early on. I'm 5 years in, I just celebrated 5 years in business in March. And without a doubt, this past year, so like the last 12 months have been the hardest for me. And it's a culmination of a lot of things. On a personal note, my husband had a long standing time of being unemployed. We were dealing with a lot of financial issues, family stuff. We were going in and out of court. Oh my gosh. And then I was served a cease and desist back in February and required to change my business name, completely rebrand, totally out of the blue. And so all of these things compacting and hitting us at the same time and really questioning like, what's the right move for me right now? Does it make more sense for me to just like shut the doors and call it a day? Everything in me for months wanted to just sell my house, sell my business, and move to like some slow paced foreign country and just start afresh. Honestly,
Wyoming, but go to foreign country.
I'm like, and actually that's still my big dream. I would love to do that eventually, but I was just, I've been through it this last 12 months for sure.
Oh my gosh. I was keeping up with your stories and everything on Instagram.
Thank you.
To be right out of the blue, like, what do you do? And that's the theme with the Dream Chasers series is to, if you're listening and you're an entrepreneur, business owner, want to pursue that dream, and maybe you've dealt with this, like, what do I do next? Or I'm scared because this could happen. Talking to these people, entrepreneurs like yourself, who inspire us and others to dream it, do it, which is our saying. So you're going to go through all the things.
Congratulations on 5 years. That's pretty amazing for entrepreneurs. Because a lot of the small businesses don't last a year. There's like a 90% failure rate for most businesses. So great job.
I heard that recently. Thank you. When I heard those stats, I was like, oh my gosh, but it really is something to celebrate. And so thank you for saying that. And there were definitely times where I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this work.
Gerald, you've been a business owner for a long time. You've gone through those hoops too.
And we had our staging business, so we got the Camino shop, and now we're trying to launch a new business at the schoolhouse. So we're always failing forward and learning from our mistakes. And as long as you don't quit, you don't lose, you don't fail. So just keep going.
Exactly. I heard that on like a podcast or something. I'll have to share where that was from. Okay, so we went over. Okay, so which year felt like the turning point for your business, and what specifically changed that led to that success? You might have touched on that too, but
Well, definitely this year is the turning point. And what I realized was, although getting that email, first I thought it was like a scam. I didn't even take it seriously because I'm like, what? There's no way. And then the way that this particular person got my attention, they got my Instagram totally shut down. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is a real thing. And it got me thinking. And of course, my immediate reaction was, this sucks. This is horrible. Why is this happening to me? And then luckily, I was able to really quickly switch it and be like, wait a minute, this is exactly this is the opportunity that I think I've been asking for, that I'm looking for. I knew I wanted, with 5 years approaching, I've been considering, like, how can I elevate my company? I've been doing things the way that I've just always done them because it was working. But for many reasons, there have been a major shift in the industry anyway. There's a major shift just nationwide. And so not all the things that used to work for me were working. And I knew I wanted to elevate everything. And so when this happened, I'm like, oh, this is my opportunity to, when I rebrand, I'm going to take a look at everything from my company, from top to bottom, how my attendants are dressed at events, the way, the unique avatar of customer and client that we're going to target, our internal procedures and SOPs, like everything I've been looking at, like, how do I upgrade? And so when this happened, I'm like, oh, this is exactly how I get to, in a way, start over. And even though it's jarring and a little bit stressful to think after 5 years starting over, it's also been really cool. It's an opportunity that not everybody gets, which is like getting to rebuild, not from ground zero, but after having learned 5 years of the ins and outs. I'm like, okay, I have a better idea now of how I'm going to pivot. So I've turned it on its head, and it's been exciting in that way.
well, and I saw in one of your reels, and people don't realize how hard it is to build like your followers.
Yeah.
And you lost
All
over
of them.
for all of them.
I mentioned this, but it took me 4 years I was posting every single day for 4 years. One of the first things I did, which I'm so thankful I did, was I hired a social media manager first 3 months of starting my company. And I use that term very loosely. It was someone who basically took my ideas, took the content we were already getting at events, and putting them up on Facebook or Instagram. I knew when I started, I'm like, I don't know how to caption. This is not a CEO level task. That's not the best use of my time, is like posting on Instagram. So hired someone to do it, and she did her thing for a long period of time. Then we had another person. And it's been like this really slow build. And at 5 years, we were really excited that we hit 4K. And then this happened. So it takes time and momentum and reputation building. And it was a lot to lose overnight.
But you're back up there. I was looking. You're almost at 5. And the amount of support, because we're all in the same community, where I was reading at the comments and people that I'm like, that are well-known photographers, they're like, we got you. I'm sharing. Oh, I just saw this on a friend's story. I just love our community.
Same.
The empowerment that
it blew me away, but it also was a perfect reflection to me of what it looks like to show up in your community consistently for 5 years. And sometimes I'll question, like, oh my gosh, I'm doing all this networking, I'm showing up at these events, and like, it's a lot of work, especially sponsoring events when you're giving of yourself and your company, and it's an investment, and you sometimes wonder, gosh, how is this paying off? And it doesn't always look like a very equal, obvious monetary exchange. Sometimes it's those relationships that share a post that helps you reach people that you never thought you'd reach. So I'm like super sold on showing up in the community and networking, because that's how I was able to build those relationships that supported me when I really needed it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I could tell, Lynnae, you have a very powerful mindset. Like, have you read a lot of books on mindset, or how did you get to be so mature about it? I like some of the words you use, like you get to rebuild and have the opportunity to move forward. And that's I didn't learn that stuff until later on in my businesses. And
thank you for saying that. A couple of things. In 2012, I was introduced to the Landmark Forum. Have you guys ever heard of the Landmark Forum before?
No.
No, okay. It's a personal growth and development company. They do live 3-day, basically, I guess you can call them seminars, that completely turned how I looked at the world upside down and has given me so many unique points of views to see how things are going. And so I participated in that until COVID, because then everything stopped being in person and it was on Zoom, and opened the doors to me absolutely loving personal growth and development. It is my hobby. I love reading books. I love listening to seminars. And actually right now, Jim Rohn is my guy. He's been in my ear 24/7. So when I'm working out, if I'm driving, I just go on YouTube and I search Jim Rohn. I just listen to everything because I need to pour in, because what my life is demanding of me. I'm like, I need to have something to give. So I'm just constantly soaking up other mentors. So that's probably.
That's funny you mentioned Jim Rohn, because I've been listening to a lot of his stuff lately too on my TikTok feed, and he's very inspirational. I love his cadence. It's a little different from like Tony Robbins and some of the other guys.
It's funny. I like his humor and I get him, and I'm just like, I don't know. Every now and then I'll find a new remote mentor, and I'm just like, this is my mentor for the next quarter, whether it is Tony Robbins or Jim Rohn. And I'm just like letting them share whatever they need to share.
I'm here. I'm a sponge.
Exactly. Yep. That's exactly it.
All right. Who inspired or mentored you along the way? And what's one piece of advice from them that still guides you?
I have had coaches and mentors my whole journey. That's one of my big pieces of advice to people who are either starting out or they're at an impasse where they're really struggling, is find someone who is a little bit ahead of you or a lot of bit ahead of you and hire a coach at all times. I'm like huge on coaching. So right now I have a coach, and she's actually someone who I started following. She's extraordinary in the photo booth world. She's out in Canada and offers coaching. And so I've been dying to work with her. And right now she's my coach. And it's really awesome to have a different perspective and someone who can see things that, like, when you're in the thick of it, it's like you have blind spots. There's things that if someone else were to get in and be able to be like, oh, there's this. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even notice that. So I guess the shorter answer to that question is that always having someone that you're saying, hey, support me, help me, whether it is like a paid coach, or even if you're struggling financially and you're like, I can't pay a coach, you can create a little mastermind group of 4 other people who are within the community, and you guys can all support each other. So just like create opportunities where other people can look at what you're dealing with and give you different perspective, because then you can see things that you wouldn't have naturally seen.
Have that with our team, Gerald. We even like the Camino shop. We have Melissa has started a little like Dream Chasers group too. Ooh. So yeah, I guess we're doing that. It's fun. Awesome. But always having a coach.
For me, like the accountability part of it is what I always struggle with, and having someone there to check up on you and make sure you're doing what you said you're going to do is really important.
I know.
Especially as an entrepreneur or business owner, having someone to always make sure you're doing all the things. Because you're your own boss, you can do whatever, but you don't, you know.
And for me, it's hard because I'm a visionary. So I have a lot of really big ideas, and I can see like 5, 10, 15 years really clearly. But where I really struggle with is like, okay, what do I do right now in order to reach that? And I'm like, it's hard for me to think the day to day. And I could be very squirrely. Like, I have this big idea, and then I'll share it with my coach. And then the next time we meet, I'm like, I have this idea. And she's like, what happened to last week's idea? And I'm like, oh, so she helps me stay on track in terms of like focus in, because that's like hard for me to stick and stay. Not in the sense of like quitting all the time, but
Sure.
I can be doing like 50 different things all at once. And if I just put all of my time and energy resources to one thing, I'd probably get that thing done and then can do other things. So that's my biggest challenge for sure.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay. What's something about entrepreneurship that no one warned you about, but every dream chaser should know?
Ooh, so good. I think that what people sometimes lose sight of is entrepreneurship is an opportunity to grow as a human being. It's tied to some concrete goal, obviously, whether you're like, I'm going to scale my company. Like my big goal is to build $1 million photo booth company. And so I chose that because it just feels like for me, I'm like, I have no idea how to do that. Like I would have to become a completely different person and a completely different CEO in order to reach that goal. So I had to choose something that felt really scary and something that I don't even understand or know how to do. And so for me, it's what people don't talk about or realize is if you can go into it with that mindset of, I don't know whether or not I'm going to reach the goal, and reaching the goal is secondary to who you get to become along the way. And it's impacted me in so many different ways. Like I'm a different wife because I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a different mom because it's really forced me to grow in areas that everyone around me benefits from me putting myself through this rigor of becoming more. And I think that's the exciting part of it. It's like, whether or not I actually get that goal is irrelevant because whoever I have to morph into 5 years from now, I'm like, wow, it's going to be incredible. Like one of my big goals this year is to improve on my public speaking skills. And I wrote that down. And then it's so funny how I have people reaching out for opportunities like this. And I'm like, it's a definite yes, because I don't feel like I know what I'm doing when I'm speaking. I feel like very clunky and like nervous. And so I'm excited about getting better at it. And one day being like, I was really scared back in the day to get on podcasts and like speak. And now not now, but I'm sure eventually I'll be like, it's easy for me now. So I just love the growth opportunity that it presents. And that's what lights me up about it.
You don't seem nervous at all, by the way. I'm like, hey, she's been doing this.
You're great.
You're doing amazing. I love it. Okay, so advice to dream chasers. So if someone listening right now has a business idea but is scared to start, what would you tell them? I know we talked about coaching. Is there anything else specific?
I would tell them to immediately do the idea. Again, just because for no other reason than to become more. Like that's the thing. That's it. And I think it's funny. I'm frustrated at the way our culture looks at secondary education as an example. Like I'm not anti-college, but especially now, you really have to know what you're going for, what you're out to create. If you're going to invest 4+ years and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and people will do it like that. They don't think twice about it. It's just culturally accepted to enroll in some college and then spend lots of time and money to get this degree. And I'm like, your dream is that. Is your 4-year, could you give your dream 4 years and $60,000 and see what happens, see who you become, see what you get from it? And so I see people being so hesitant to like go after their dreams, but we don't think twice about enrolling in college and doing that. And so I just find that really interesting. And I'm like, what if we just looked at pursuing a dream that we have the same way that most 18-year-olds look at going to school?
Oh, seriously. Yeah. I wish I would have had that mindset back then. It was a different time. It was like you had to go to school. Like there was no
the way you did it.
Yeah. So now if you're listening,
yes. If you are 18 and you're listening and you're like, do I do this or that? It's not. And if your career goal unequivocally requires like some higher level education, then you should do that if you have a plan in place and all of that. But if you're like, just the whole idea of like, let me go explore and find myself and have the experience, it's like, you could, there's nothing against it. And especially if it's already paid for, go for it. But you could also consider taking that money, make any random dream, pour that time and money into that and see what you become and see what you create.
Yeah, I know. Amazing.
I think we're living in a time too where there's never been this type of opportunity or access to customers. And I listen to a lot of Gary Vee, Gary Vaynerchuk, and social media is free. Like you can post videos, you can go viral. The tools we have now as entrepreneurs are just amazing. And I agree with what you said with going to college. Like it is so expensive. And I had a poli-sci degree, but it was like a lot cheaper back then. I don't know if I would go back to school to get that.
No.
I probably would have just got my real estate license out of high school, or like one of the things I wanted to do was start my own travel agency. But I think that is a little bit different now with Expedia and some of these other companies. But I have some friends that do more like boutique travel, that type of stuff. So I think there's a niche there for everybody. I was going to ask you, Lynnae, I still have the little fridge magnet that you guys made me at the photo booth. What are like some of the things you're seeing with photo booths or weddings? Are you just doing photos or video, or how does that look?
We do photo and video experiences, but what I'm seeing right now that's really blowing up is unique keepsakes that people can take home, like the magnet. Buttons have been really big. What we just invested in is a keychain station. So we're doing keychain booths, which is so fun. So we take a photo and stamp out a circle and put it into a cute keychain. And we can even take it that next level. We're going to be doing a keychain booth at the end of June, and it's for a really fun, extravagant garden party. So we also have a charm bar where we have all of these really pretty like flower charms. And so people can get their keychain, they'll get to choose a charm and put it on there, and like things that feel very unique to the guest or the customer, that people are loving that. So trading cards are really fun too, where you actually have like a trading card of your face, but then you can put your stats. So stuff that is more unique, more fun. And we love learning and growing in that way of like trying to figure out new ways to make it special and unique. So I would say that's what I'm seeing right now that people are really loving is photo booth, but with a little pizzazz, which I'm here for it because I love everything extra. So
Oh, I like the magnet. Is it just a picture of you? Is it the family?
The family.
Older. Oh.
Yeah, you basically take the photo booth picture and then you create a magnet from it or a keychain or a button. Yeah.
I love that. The keychain, that's a really good idea.
I love the keychains. They're so fun. And the backside is a whole space for branding. So if it's a corporate event, you can put your logo. If it's a wedding, you can put your monogram like S and M. And so everyone knows like this is the event that I got this at. So I think it's a really cool opportunity.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, those are all of our questions. So I don't know if you wanted to add anything, Gerald, or...
Well, I was going to thank you for being on our first series here with the Dream Chasers, and then ask how can people hire you or connect with you?
Thank you for asking. Yes. So we have our website live. It's a transfer. So if you go to REVERIEPhotoBoothCo.com, you can go directly to our website. And you can also find us on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook at REVERIEPhotoBooth.co. And that's how you can find us. You can DM me or send me a message on our Connect with Us on our website. And I'm so excited to connect with you. If you have an event that you really want to just spoil someone in your life, make them feel like the center of the world. And that's one of the things that I really love to do is partner with people who are like, hey, I have this person and I really want to make them feel like $1 million. And I'm like, yes, that's my favorite client to work with. But also if you have any event where you don't want to step over acknowledging yourself or someone else that's accomplished something major, we love to work with you.
I love it. Well, thank you for joining us. That
Thank
was so
you.
fun.
I know. I so appreciate the opportunity. It was really fun. And it's just cool to hear. I'm so thankful for people like you who are like, hey, let's talk about chasing our dreams, because it is so important. And it really also, I didn't touch on this, but I love that it brings life to people. Like, it's exciting. It just makes you feel like you kind of always have to be going for something in life. Otherwise, there's just like this dead apathy, especially for those of us that are just going in and out of, and I'm like, okay, have something that you're like fighting for, or that you have to be challenged to, in order to achieve that. That's what I want every adult to have that.
Yeah. We've talked about that too, because we've had corporate jobs. You're in that lull. And I was like, oh my gosh, 15 years of this. I need to get out. And that's where it's a little scary, where you're starting over. And then, am I too old to start over? You have all those thoughts, but
no,
never. No.
Keep growing. And if you're not learning, then you're going backwards.
Yeah, seriously. Well, thank you, Lynnae, for joining us. And I'm sure we'll see you soon.